Yes.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is 3:30 PM, and I'd like to call the May meeting of Personnel and Compensation Committee to order. Please note this meeting is being transmitted via streaming video. The public can find a link to this video stream by visiting the Orange County website, www.orangecountygov.com. Click on the tab for legislature and go from there. I'm going to ask you to please silence your cell phones, tablets, and other electronic devices. Thank you. Please be mindful that there are microphones in the room and they are very sensitive. Please rise for the pledge of the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Glad to see you in person. Kelly, can we have the roll call, please?
Benton.
Here.
Brescia.
Here.
Fagion.
Here.
Luhan. Menuda.
Here.
O'Donnell. Paduk. Sassy.
Here.
5 present, 3 absent.
Okay, very good. First on our agenda is Darcy Miller, our Commissioner of Social Services and Mental Health. There's a request to create 1 full-time free negotiator position and abolish 2 part-time fee negotiator positions currently vacant. The majority of the funding for the new position will be covered through revenue fees. Legislative request number 098. Do I have a motion?
I make that motion. Second.
Legislator Fagion, second by Legislator Benton. Commissioner, good afternoon. Good to see you. Happy Friday. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon and happy Friday to you all. Thank you for your consideration. So our clinics, as you can imagine, with the mental health need in the community have increased their billing, not to mention with virtual capability. Our no-show rates have gone from about 34 to 35% down to about 15%. So we're billing for a lot more services. We've added additional clinicians, so we're billing for more services there. And additionally adding the new satellites, school satellites. So with that, as we have proposed, we'd like to create 1 single position. We have a grade 6 that we'd like to appoint provisionally to that position, and it's all revenue covered. So it's no additional cost, no benefit cost to our department.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. There you are.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend. Thank you.
Stay cool.
Second up, Paul Wiley, Acting Director, Real Property Tax Service. Paul, come on up, please. Good to see you. Request to reclassify part-time assessor's assistant in Palm Tree, grade 8, position number 014241 to full-time. Legislative request number 091. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Brescia, second by Benton. Mr. Wiley, go right ahead.
This is to take one of our people who's part-time right now and make him full-time. He's the assessor's assistant in Palm Tree. My predecessor, Eric Rusher, had increased the intermunicipal contract that we have with them, knowing that we were going to have to add help. And so the finances are actually already covered by the budget that we have and the contract with Palm Tree. And so this is to basically retain somebody who's part of a team that's very good at keeping up with what's going on in Palm Tree. The increases in the number of parcels and the activity on that's going on there is staggering. And every time I drive by there, it's larger and more involved. But these two are doing a good job of keeping up with it. But it would be much better if our assistant could be made full-time so that they could actually keep on top of it.
Do you believe that's ample to just have the 1 full-time with the activity there?
Well, it's a full-time assessor, and we're going to be making the part-time assistant full-time, so he'd be able to go from 18 or 19 hours to 40. And as I said, they're doing a good job of keeping on top of it. I'm hoping, and we're pretty sure that would be enough for them to stay on top of things.
Questions?
No, it's just, if I could say, it's just great. I mean, I was always against this for my town of Newburgh, and they wanted to go to it and have it for a couple of years, and they paid, and then they went back to the way I felt and got rid of it and had their own. So
Right.
if he's doing a good job and knows the layout, that's great. It's good for them. They pay. It's all under contract.
And I might also add that there's an upcoming shortage potentially for assessors and assessors assistants statewide. And I hear about it from other county directors. And I would hate to lose Matt Turry, who's part-time now, because he's looking at a full-time job somewhere else. So I'd much rather keep him here.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yes, let the record reflect legislator Barry Cheney is here as well. Mr. Cheney, you have a question?
Yes, has there been overtime worked over the course of the last 12 months for these individuals to keep pace?
There has been some, but it's mostly that they're using their comp time that they build up for certain things. They're able to kind of use their time here. But the last few weeks have been quite busy in the assessment community because of timing. And so they've been shifting time here and there to kind of keep up with it.
Yeah, certainly seeing all the activity there, it's obvious that there are significant increases in the workload.
Yeah, we are looking at a potential increase of another 60 or so % of tax parcels there as they're dividing parcels that are existing into now further and further smaller parcels. 2-story buildings are, with 8 units in them are being torn down and being replaced with 24 units. And, it's simply staggering what's going on.
And I appreciate that the county's gotten ahead of it relative to their contractual relationship with KJ or with Palm Trees.
And Palm Tree does seem to be quite content with them so far in the work that they're doing. They want to keep us doing it, and we want to keep doing it.
Good to hear. Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else? Yes, legislator Bennett.
How is the county keeping track of the number of units and the potential water usage and the capacity at our plant?
That's one of the reasons why we want them to stay there, is so that we can kind of keep a number of fixtures involved in each one of the condo units that's going in, because let's face it, it's almost exclusively condominium units that are going in here for residences. And they know the number of fixtures and they're able to keep track of that. They are actually physically inspecting the buildings all the time. I went on a physical inspection about 6 weeks ago, and it was just 28 different buildings that we're walking through to try to count the number of units to make sure that they are as they are showing on the
Calculating
Yes.
proper usage.
yes, and also on the plans that they're providing, that we're making sure that everything is, according to the plans.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Did you have a question? I'm sorry.
I think Joe.
The
That's
chair?
it. I
Yes.
just really wanted to confirm that this has been, since we started this program, it's been very advantageous for both municipalities and for County of Orange. And in particular, as it relates to Palm Tree, it is something that's welcoming and they're working very well together. And it's a very positive relationship. So I see that this is needed, and I would ask that you all vote in the affirmative.
Okay, any further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So ordered. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice weekend. Roman number 3, Tim Davidian, Director Probation Department. Tim is here. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Director, how are you today?
Very good. How was everything today?
Good, good, thanks.
Sounds like we're gonna have a good weekend. Maybe a little too hot, but we'll survive.
We have letter A, request to create 1 probation assistant, grade 9, to assist in monitoring youth placed on GPS monitoring and to perform the installation of the monitors. Do we have a motion?
So move.
Legislator Benton, second by legislator Fagione. This went through public safety
Yes, correct.
yesterday and was unanimously approved, but go ahead, Director.
The probation assistant position we're seeking to create, with Raise the Age, there was always monies included in our grant for a probation assistant. We didn't really see the need, but with the number of youth being placed on the GPS monitors, and now we're running anywhere from 6 to 8 youth at any given point in time, and the prospect of no additional adolescent offender beds being added in the state, we expect those numbers to continue to increase. We thought it was a good use, since it would be completely grant funded, to have a probation assistant devoted completely to GPS and do additional follow-up on those units that we're currently not as able to do. And since it's just a monitoring aspect of it, we felt it was a position that's appropriate for an assistant as opposed to an officer.
Any questions, comments? Okay, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay, so ordered. Letter B, request to create 1 associate account clerk, grade 10, for planning and overseeing major account keeping activities. Legislative request number 104. Do I have a motion?
I'll second.
Brescia, second by legislator Fagione. Okay, Director, go ahead.
In our 22 budget, after consulting with budget and finance, it was both recommended by both of those departments that we bring on a specific financial person. The department's budget is now in excess of $11 million with 75 staff. And this will enable us to not necessarily keep better track, but do more up-to-date record keeping on revenues, expenditures, and make sure we're on target throughout the course of the year.
Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Roman numeral 4, Alan Sorensen, our Commissioner of Planning Department. Mr. Sorensen, come on up, please. How are you today?
Okay, yourself?
Good, thanks. There are 3 items here. Item 1, request to create 1 principal planner, grade 18. The position will be responsible for specialized professional and technical work related to municipal, community, county, and regional transportation planning. Legislative request number 096. So I have a motion.
So moved.
Fagione, second.
Sir.
Brescia. Commissioner, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay, this is a position that was approved by the legislature in the adopted 2022 budget. We've gone through the process of creating the job description, working with human resources. And the reason for the creation of the principal planner position, the Department of Planning is the host agency for the Orange County Transportation Council. And we're administering in the tens of millions of dollars each year. And I had requested the principal planner position to enable us to take better advantage of the federal funds that we receive, so we can have a greater focus on some of the higher level planning that we would like to proceed with. We have funding in our annual Unified Planning Work Program that we've received. We have in place to undertake some transportation corridor studies. And I really need to have a planner with this level of expertise to help get some of those projects off the ground.
Any questions? Legislator Bennett, go ahead.
You just listed 1 program and then you said programs. What's the handful that you're looking at?
Well, in terms of, we administer through the Transportation Council, we have the Unified Planning Work Program, which is our general planning grant. And then we also are responsible for managing the Transportation Improvement Program, which is the 5-year plan. That uncovers both county, state, and local projects that are sponsored throughout the county. And in addition to that, we also are responsible for creating the long-range transportation plan for the Orange County Transportation Council. We'll be going through the process of updating that in 2023. So with respect to specific, I mentioned Route 17M, Route 6 corridor study. So that's 1 project that is identified in the Unified Planning Work Program. There are also other initiatives for bicycle pedestrian enhancements throughout the county. So we have quite a number of programs underway. The department also oversees Transit Orange. So when you see the various Transit Orange buses, fixed route buses going throughout the county, that's also managed by our department.
Sidewalks?
Where it's related to specific projects that are identified in the Unified, for planning purposes, we do address that. We're actually working right now with the city of Newburgh to, through the planning part of it, to analyze the feasibility of creating a sidewalk improvement district that would be at the city level. And then if there's a project that comes through the Transportation Alternatives Program, TAP, that's something that we would also be responsible for, not directly funding, but we'd be involved in its management.
Okay. How about crosswalks?
Crosswalks, that is probably more in the purview of DPW, but when we undertake some of the specific transportation studies, like I'll go back to the Route 6 17M corridor study, we would look at that in a holistic perspective. So the county had adopted a complete streets policy. So what the complete streets policy is whenever we're looking at roadway or highway improvements affecting a highway, part of the highway system, we have to look at not just the movement of vehicles within that street, but also look at the movement of pedestrians and bicyclists. So looking at it from a holistic perspective, and that would cover such things as
Okay.
crosswalks.
Because specifically in the city of Newburgh, a few years ago, someone came up with a new concept that they had heard somewhere at probably a seminar, bump outs. Where
Oh,
you get to
okay.
an intersection and all of a sudden you got this stupid little area that's on the side where the sidewalk touches the street that's bumped out that make people, go around rather than just honestly educating people about the law in the state of New York with crosswalks. If you're standing on the concrete sidewalk, people can go, but as soon as you step 1 foot in the crosswalk, you're supposed to stop.
Understood.
And so I think it's a lot more education of the public as to what the real law is. Because you start going through and a cop sees you, you're in the crosswalk waiting to cross, you should get a ticket, and people need to be educated that way.
Understood. I use the crosswalk across from our building just coming up here, so most of the people know to stop, but there are a few that can.
I tried to cross the street last night at the crosswalk by the Trotter Hall of Fame, and 3 cars went zooming past me at about 50 miles an hour. I had no idea.
You have to, as a pedestrian, you have to still be mindful.
Mhm.
There are in certain urban areas where the bump outs do help to calm traffic. But I agree with you that, the drivers need to be more mindful.
So I think there just should be an education component to that.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, Legislator Menuda, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I have one question with regard to the qualifications for the position. I see that a master's or a bachelor's is required.
Yes.
What about an AICP certification?
That is going to be a preference, so a preferred.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Anyone else? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Thank you.
So carried. Okay, 2 and 3 are related here. If you look at number 3, there's an abolishing a position. So keep that in mind. Request to create 1 fiscal technician grade 14. The position is needed to ensure accurate financial records are maintained and ensure compliance with federal, state, and local grant and finance rules. Legislative request number 096. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
By Jones, second by Legislator Menuda. Okay. Commissioner, go ahead.
Okay, as I mentioned at the beginning, our office through the Transportation Council administers literally tens of millions of dollars. Currently, the responsibilities for the managing the financial records are split between myself, my executive secretary, a planner, an account clerk. We've done a good job of managing it, but in our discussions with the budget office, it became clear to me, and then with discussions with the budget office, I recognize that we really need a point person within the department to oversee all of that. And that is the purpose of creating the fiscal technician grade 14 position. Now, currently within the department, I have had authorization to fill 2 of the 4 vacant planner positions. I filled 1. Closing in on filling a 2nd. So when given the overall needs of the organization, I came to the conclusion that I could afford to have 1 less planner position, but I really need to have a fiscal technician within the department. Just given the huge sum of federal, state, and dollars that we manage. So that is the request. I guess it would be characterized, it would be budget neutral. But I also believe that there's actually a financial benefit in that a large portion of this fiscal technician's salary can be offset with the federal and state funds that we receive.
Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, so carried. 3 is a request to abolish 1 vacant planner grade 14 to allow for funding of the newly created fiscal technician grade 14. legislative request number 096. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Benton and Fagion. It's kind of self-explanatory, but Commissioner, go ahead.
Yeah, as I mentioned, this is asking to abolish this position so that we can create the fiscal technician grade 14.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so carried. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our agenda for today. I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Benton, I'm sorry, Brescia and Benton. Our meeting is over. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. The E&E committee will be meeting at 4 p.m., about 9 minutes. Thanks.
When you click the button.